All right, so we're getting ready to talk about money, okay? Everybody wants to know about money. They want money. They still trying to get to the money. Okay. I'm not going to talk about the money, really. I'm not going to really deal with that at all. What I'm really going to deal with is value, worth, wealth, and work. We'll talk about those because work and worth and all of that kind of is mixed together for the time being. After a while, we're not going to be thinking like that anymore. We're going to start thinking differently about money and what it is. We're going to remind ourselves of what money is and what money does. We are going to think about what money provides, where it exists, and what it does in our personal lives, and then what it is we want money to do for us. Okay? Because you can take money and pay your bills, and that's it. Or you can start to imagine what your money can do different than what you're doing with it now. Because, see, you know, if you are convinced that the only thing that you can do with your money is pay bills, and that's what you think and that's what you say out of your mouth, then guess what? That's exactly what it is that happens for you. Right? Your brain and your mouth go together. Between them are two ears. Listen to yourself and listen in general. That's very helpful in this regard. All right, so we're going to talk about money here. I'm going to the Steampunk Tarot for those of you who like to know about cards. I like to go to these for work too, so that's why I'm here. We've got the Justice in reverse. In this particular card, in the upright, it shows somebody sitting between the two pillars. The two pillars represent the veil. That's where the veil is, right? So somebody's sitting between the two pillars, and they're looking at the money, the jewels, and then they're looking at fate, how the cards play out, okay? There's a process for this. There's a process for this, and the process is intended to create balance. Stay with me. All right. This is your negocios. This is your business dealings right here. So you have somebody who's sort of there's somebody who's sort of who are they? They're the person in charge. They're the person who's kind of calling the shots. They are making everything happen on the floor, so to speak. So then there's the person who has something that they think is of value, that they think is worth it. And then there's somebody else, this guy or this person or this woman, whoever it is, the person who's in charge, is the one to determine that. Okay? And that's the point of pivot that we need to be at. It's a pinpoint. It's the end of a very sharp sword, okay? Swords in the tarot represent the mind. It represents the thinking. So this goes back to what I was saying before, is that we have to rethink, right? How we are talking about, or how we have to rethink how we're thinking about money, wealth, value, worth, our work, all of that. Okay. There is another option. There are other options. There are other ways. There are other offerings that may not be in the forefront. Now, this message is for the person who is in the position to decide what is of value and what is not of value. There are people and entities that regard that, I'm going to say, okay? So for that, there are other options. There are other ways. There are other processes, right, that can happen other than what's right in front of your face, okay? For the person who is making the offer to the individual who's making the decision, what is the value of what you're offering to you, to the world, to this person, right, that you're talking to, or to this group of people, or wherever you are? I don't know. Different people are at different stages and phases of this experience, so don't get locked into the details, but just like listen out, okay? The Magician is about your ability to imagine, realize, and then materialize what it is that you imagine, okay? That's what the Magician card is all about. Sometimes in some decks, they call this the Alchemist. Then you'll start to make the connection, because you have to be able to take a nothing and make something from nothing, basically, okay? That's alchemy. So that's that energy. That's the dynamic. That's the ability. That's the positionality where you have to be in order to materialize what it is that you want. Okay? Now, I have a Queen of Cups and a Page of Cups. Okay? Cups are the realms of the emotions, the feelings, how you were nurtured, how you choose to nurture. This is associated with water. Water, the current, is akin to the currency. It used to be many, many years ago, before we had cars and trolley cars and buses and planes. Everything that was associated with mercantilism or any kind of merchant was on a ship. It was going by water. And so if you were located near a major waterway, that area where you lived was going to be more affluent because of what was coming into the ports. So the water is associated with currency and money and the flow and energy of money, okay? Also, with the Page of Cups, this is about communication. It's about what you say, but what you say is what you think, typically. Sometimes you're lying. Don't worry about that part. What you're saying is how you're thinking about the subject matter. And this is how you have, this is how you have been nurtured around this. So like some of the messaging that you got about money came from the people around you very early on in your life experience. Could be your mother, your father, your grandmother, whoever, the church, the whoever that had you, that where you were influenced about this subject matter. And all of that's fine, because it's nothing to be negated from your experience. You should never negate anything from any experience you've ever had, because your experience is your teacher. Okay? But the Page of Cups is alerting us to the way we're communicating and thinking about money, and how this is influenced by how we were nurtured, whether or not we felt nurtured or not, whether or not we felt like we had enough, whether we felt enough love, whether we felt, because a lot of times when people go to something else, they're missing the nurture or the love. A lot of times people reach for the material things because inside they feel something is missing. So they're trying to, fill it with things, stuff and things, as I like to say. They like to fill it with stuff and things. Okay? So for many of us, we are going to have to go back and think about how our thoughts and attitudes and perceptions about money and worth and wealth and work have been influenced by our nurturing early on. And then, flip side, how we are then nurturing that thought, that belief, that concept. We're nurturing it with our words. We're nurturing it with our actions, our behaviors, our fears. Every time we're afraid that the money ain't there, then it wakes up something in us and we're feeding it. We're feeding it. We're feeding it. So you have to be careful what you feed, because what you feed stays at your door. Got to be careful about that. All right. Moving right along. This is interesante. 10 of Pentacles. This is about your dreams and your aspirations and your things and your perceptions and what you imagine is going to happen when you have all the money that you want. This is what you imagine is going to happen when you have all the money that you want. Keep in mind, this is what you imagine, okay? This is also your aspirations, what you want, what you desire, the dream that you have for your physical world, okay? The dream you have for the money, the dream you have for your work. All of that is tied into the 10 of Pentacles. It's what you imagine it to be. Now, this is the deal, and this is what you know from experience. Think about it. Anything you've ever really wanted, if you got it, then you realize all that comes with it. You can't see that until you get there. That's why people say, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. And when people say that, the real deal is that we begin to pull back on what it is that we want. We start saying, oh, well, I better not ask for that. It's not really about that. It's just about knowing that whatever you're asking for, there's a part that you imagine that can be realized, but with it, there comes things that you also will not see. Okay? Goes back to the veil that we talked about in the beginning. So sometimes we think something is not fair. We feel like, oh, it's not fair. These people, they get this and they get that, and I don't have this and I don't have that. But it really, that's not really actually what's going on. So the 3 of Wands asks for you to set your sights differently, to set your sights on something beyond the way that you're currently thinking about it. Okay. Wands is the realm of the spirit. It's the realm of the drive, the fire, the spark, the motivation, that's what's behind it. Okay. So you want to look forward into that. Okay. You're also going to want to adopt some King of Pentacles ways. Now, a King of Pentacles is the masculine energy moving through the material realm. So if you think about the masculine energy moving through the material realm, you can get some ideas about how that looks. Okay. Masculine is outward. Masculine is progressive. Masculine is can be aggressive, assertive. it's about going to get what you want, right? And also, with it being in the realm of the earth, it's also not picking any and everything, but picking the things that are needed, choosing that which is pragmatic, also making a decision based on what has to happen to ensure a proper foundation, to ensure that there is that needs are taken care of. It's not the frivolous kind of want. It's not that. It's more the thing that's going to create the foundation for what it is that you want and what it is that you desire. Some people want money, but they're really not ready to have it because you don't have a foundation about how to deal with money. You know, and then people ask the question, well, how come these people that win these millions of dollars in the lottery and then they end up broke? Because they don't know how to man up about the money. Seriously. All right. Now, here's joy. Here's happiness. Here's a camaraderie. Here's friendship. Here's beauty. Here's the sun. Here comes the sun. This is the beauty of the whole thing. Okay? This is when the enlightenment happens. This is when you start to wake up. And then you're not so sad and disgusted and disgruntled about your financial situation. And this is where the collective is on this. This is where the majority of the people are in this process. They're still chugging along. They're still on foot. They got the water canteen there. It's okay. Got your helmet on. You good, right? But you're not flying yet, right? What you have to do is embody these lessons and continue on in the journey. Don't get discouraged, though, because every step that you make mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually toward that goal, it will create what you're wanting. But you have to really be clear, and you also have to know how to manage it as well, okay? It's the material realm. When you're talking about money, it's the material realm. So anything in the material realm is dense and also requires some order, like, you know, it's emperor energy that's needed in order for it to work for you, for you not to frivolously spend it and, you know, lose it all in a crap game or something like that. So this right here is about the work. It's about perfecting the craft. It's about understanding what you're doing. It's about getting better at what you're doing. And this, the change in the thinking, is what we're doing the work around. Every step along the way is going to help you. So don't get mad when you're working and you hustling and you working and you hustling. You're learning something, and then you're also learning how not to hustle so much. So you're getting there. Don't worry about that. Some of y'all is dead, tired, worn out, can't go no further. You're working and you're working and you're working and you're working. This goes back to every day I'm hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Eventually, you're going to burn out. Okay? Look at you with your briefcase down here on there. You're flat. You flat at the top. You at the top, but you flat. You got 150 knives going through your back. You don't know how in the world you got here. The whole world is aflame, and all you did was got this far, and you don't understand why. Okay? Stop doing that part. Don't do all of that. If you're doing all of that, it's way too much. This is 5D. If you're doing all that still, it's time to start downshifting. You know, you can't be on 5. Run your engine out. All right, Page of Swords. This is getting rid of the baggage. Page of Swords, getting rid of the baggage. You have to cut the baggage. This is going to be done again. Your mind. You have to cut it in your mind first. Then you're going to cut it in your speech. Then you're going to cut people out of your life that's holding you back. You're going to cut situations out of your life that's holding you back. You're going to stop doing the thing that drains the energy that you need to progress and move forward. Get the knife. You have to cut the baggage. You have to get rid of that. First is your mental baggage. Second is the physical baggage. Third is the people baggage. You're going to do them in steps and stages. Remember I said it's going to be steps and stages. All right, I'm getting the moon and I'm getting the hangman. The hangman is in reverse. That means some people are not letting go of things. The moon, oh, I'm sorry. This is the star. My fault, not the moon. This is the star and the hangman. The star and the hangman is, you're going to have to connect to your star nations. You're going to have to connect to your star power within yourself. You're going to have to utilize what you are experiencing in the 5D is where you have to level out and be at, right? That's your new standard of living. This isn't something that you do on the weekend when you don't have anything else to do and you searching YouTube. It's not that, right? It is an elevation. We call it the 5D, but it is a elevation. So once you reach that and you start having the 5D experiences, now you got to stay there and then you got to level up again. You're not done leveling up and leveling out, I like to say. Expanding. You're not done expanding. You be expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. The universe is always expanding, so you are too. Okay? This thing about not letting go of stuff, you have to do that. This goes back to what I'm saying here. And for some of you, you all are going to have to communicate it because some people are not going to let you go until you cut them loose. Just saying. So you got to learn how to release and let go and say, you know what? It's all love. It's a beautiful standard. We're getting ready to move on to the next phase. If anybody has anything that they need from me, you can give me a call at this number. I'll be available at this time and at this juncture. And good luck. Let joy rule in your life. Knight of Swords. Some people feel like they're out in the cold. They feel like they're on their own. They're in a battle with an army of one, and they don't have all of what they need. Okay. Again, that's here. That's here. You have to realize what you have access to and then access it. Okay? You got to realize, some of you already know that. You realize what you have access to. Now you just got to access it. Ask your questions. Y'all talk about the Akashic Record. Are you asking the Akashic Record? Are you asking into the Akashic Record so that the information can be transmitted to you? Or are you just talking about the Akashic Records? It's a library of information there. Use it. Go to your local library. You don't need the Dewey Decimal System. You don't need a library card. It doesn't cost anything. Just some time. So, this is, what is this about? What is this about? This is about this is about these people that's trying to get everything. Okay. It's like they trying to get everything. They trying to get everything. That's an old school line of thinking. That's last millennium. That's last millennium thinking. You have to realize that construct is ended. It's done. There's still remnants of it, and the remnants are still kind of, it's like dust settling. We're waiting for the dust completely to settle. We have no idea when that's going to be. That's okay. We're not in it for that. Okay? What we're in it for is the long haul. Praise the Lord. So right now, you have to realize that what people had you to envision about it wasn't really the truth. It was really like an illusion set before you to have you run the hamster wheel, to keep the wheel going. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that lives. So it's some decision making time for people. It's time to hit the balance, find the point of pivot, be activated by it, and then look at what's in front of you, make a decision, make the best decision you can. I highly recommend that you do your moon work as far as timing. Okay. So if you want to get in with the right synchronicity and the right timing, work with the moon energy. And the result is going to be something quite magical. It's going to be something, it's going to have its share of theatrics and pomp and flair, It won't be without it, You'll get a chance to enjoy that too. So never fear. All is not lost. You will still be able to be flossy and be fly and cute and all that good stuff. Hope you all have a pleasant day, and I hope you're having a fabulous life.